So in this video, look, let me say this. I have not updated any playoff talk. I haven't done a video outside of my Panthers about the playoffs so far with the NFL. So I just want to make this video just to talk about the NFL in totality. I don't want to get into this, breaking this thing down and making 3 different videos for this. We're going to get this thing done in one video in one shot. So let's get it.
Lock my phone, put it back down, let's try it again in the morning, bro.
I don't want it to jeopardize how I you know what I'm saying? Because you are saying.
I know we got the news that Tonka is saying. Thank God, finally some good news.
So first things first, let's talk about the guys that got fired. Let's talk about John Harbaugh. Let's talk about Sean McDermott. You got Raheem Morris. You got a few others, but just the net talk about John Harbaugh and his firing in Baltimore. That was one where it was warranted. And I know the numbers will say, look, he's been really good. They've been consistently in this place for a number of years with him as the head coach. And I'll give you that for sure. But I'll tell you that I don't believe that his career lasts this long if not for Lamar Jackson stumbling, into their possession. With a 32nd overall pick in that 2018 draft, Lamar Jackson ends up starting in his rookie year. I think after about the first 5-6 weeks, he takes over as a starter, saves that season, and then wins the MVP the next year, and in subsequent years continues to raise the bar, raise the level of play, and consistently puts that team back into a playoff picture, back into a Super Bowl hunt, where I don't think they had been for quite some time up until that point. Lamar Jackson, I think, should be thanked for extending John Harbaugh's career. I believe with a lot of things that I've seen, especially with the defensive side, because the reason why John got fired is why I feel like also Sean McDermott just got canned in Buffalo. Whereas like the unit that you're known for, the defense, has given us no help in a myriad of games that we've played in these playoffs. And we have a quarterback that is a MVP level guy, an all-pro level guy. I think a Pantheon all-time great guy in both Josh and Lamar. And we're not getting it done. I believe his voice had grew stale in that locker room. It felt much like an Andy Reid in Philadelphia situation, where it was just time to move forward. But I also believe that the Giants got it right with that hire. That's a great hire for the New York Giants. That's a great hire, I believe, for that team that needs a level of discipline instilled into it. You have pieces on the defensive side in Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, you have pieces already in place for a guy like John Harbaugh to pretty much mix and master this thing and make it something new and make it something fresh. I believe he'll be good in New York. I believe that division will be shaking in his boots seeing John Harbaugh twice a year. That's just how I feel about that situation. Now look at Sean McDermott and Buffalo, and that one's a bit I just look at that Buffalo roster, right? And I'm not even talking about the offense. I'm looking at the defense. And I would ask, who's the elite player on that defensive side of the ball? Who's the guy that you say is just the best? As good as Buffalo's defenses have been here in the past 3-4 seasons, there isn't a guy. There isn't a corner that's a lockdown guy. There isn't a linebacker that I believe is sniffing like a guy like Fred Warner. There isn't an individual pass rusher that is considered elite. They are a bunch of okay pieces with a guy that understands how to scheme it up, and Sean McDermott, because I've seen him do it in other places as well. And he made the best of what he was given. Now, the only thing I can surmise is that Sean McDermott had a lot of say-so in the guys that got drafted. And because of that, if he has so much say-so in that realm, then he deserves the blame for why we're not seeing success. So that's the only thing I could surmise that to be. Brandon Beane obviously went from GM to president of football operations. Him and McDermott have been paired up for a long time. So that had to be what that was. Now, there was something that happened, right? There was something that happened at a press conference here. This may have happened just within the last may have happened this morning as the time I'm recording this on Wednesday. Bills owner Terry Pagula says coaching staff pushed to draft wide receiver Keon Coleman, and that was never Brandon Beane's top choice in that situation. Now, here's what I'll say about that. Mr. Terry Pagula, that is the most unprofessional thing I've seen from an owner in quite some time. And mind you, I am a Carolina Panthers fan. My owner was throwing drinks on mofos in the stands. And I'm telling you, that is a crazy thing to say. And the video I made about Keon Coleman and his struggles in Buffalo is already documented as is. I'm telling y'all right now, that kid is, even if he hasn't performed well, he didn't deserve that. Ship him out. Ship him out. Ship him out. Why? Why do you feel the need? Here's the thing. You're the owner. You don't even have to justify anything. As an owner of an NFL team, this is your playground. You get to do whatever the hell you want. Nobody can really tell you anything. They can critique you, but they can't tell you anything. But the one thing I know about y'all boys, you know what I'm saying, them owners, y'all boys are rich children. Y'all get in y'all feelings. People start talking about y'all. Y'all hear it. Y'all see every tweet. You hear every comment. You hear it and you feel it. And you feel the need to jump in front of it for a guy that is also getting paid. I don't quite understand. You don't even have to justify the Keon Coleman situation to us because it doesn't matter. You already fired the coach. But Keon Coleman's still here. And if you intend for Keon Coleman to continue to be here, that's a hell of a way to start the next season off by saying, that wasn't even him. We ain't even want brother like that. That's a crazy thing to say. So I just wanted that to be put out there. That is the most unprofessional thing. That's one of the more unprofessional things I've seen from an owner in quite some time. That's a crazy thing to say, bro. You don't do that, man. And also with that being said, where do you go from here if you're the Buffalo Bills? What's the answer? Because now you're seeing names like Joe Brady, Brian Daboll, but where do you go? I've heard I just heard the name Bill Belichick being thrown out there. And truth be told, if I'm Bill Belichick and the opportunity does present itself, I do take it. I have to, because this is where you're meant to be. I don't believe Bill Belichick is bad at coaching football. I believe he's not a great fit for college, and that never, I don't care how professional the college game got, he's not fit for that. That just ain't what he's meant for. He's meant to coach grown men. His style, his bravado, everything about him screams grown men. That's what it's supposed to be, right? But I saw Nick Wright allude to it, I believe, on his podcast as well. That would be the best place to revamp your career because it gives you the quarterback that you already got a quarterback in place. All they need is this defense to be tailored and some more weapons. I believe Bill can do one of these things very well. We just tailor that defense to be dominant. Get a receiver or two, figure that out. I don't think it's the hardest thing in the world to do. I believe you just have to have a willingness to go out and do it. You can't be cheap. You can't be stingy here in this scenario. That would I think that would reopen your window that I think is starting to dwindle and close, even though Josh Allen's only 30 years old. But that's my thoughts on that. The Los Angeles Chargers hiring Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator is a big time win for that franchise. A big time win for Justin Herbert. Look, you can say what you want to about Justin Herbert and what he hasn't been and what he hasn't done. I don't believe Justin Herbert's been paired with the coaching of a guy that could necessarily take those big leaps. I think he needs the right coach at this juncture of his career. Greg Roman for damn sure wasn't it. And everybody in the league every former player has told y'all about Greg Roman for a number of years. Jim Harbaugh is going to stick by his guy. The Harbaugh boys in general have stuck by Greg Roman and watched him pretty much bring down the level of play of MVP caliber level quarterbacks. That's what he's done. Mike McDaniel, though, I believe this is where he's meant to be. This is what he's meant for. He's a guy. I think he's an OC. I don't believe he's a head coach. I don't believe he has enough. I don't know if he demands the respect in the room like how a guy like McVay does. That's an offensive mind, right? And every guy that is the boy wonder with the play calls isn't necessarily the best with controlling the room. Like Kyle Shanahan seems like he can control the room. He's done it well so far in San Fran. I don't believe this is what Mike McDaniel is best at doing. I believe him going back to the OC role, working with a high level talent in Justin Herbert and getting a chance to figure this out, I believe is a great challenge for him. I believe, I mean, he had a few options. He had some great options out there as well. But I think this is one of the best options. I think everybody wins in this scenario. I think the Chargers we probably we probably can get to see them field an offense that I believe fits the talents of Justin Herbert. And I believe Mike McDaniel gets to pretty much reheat his career up as a potential head coaching candidate here in the future. But, I think everybody wins in that one. The Cleveland Browns firing Kevin Stefanski. It's the Cleveland Browns. I'd be a liar if I said I have much of a thought about what's going on there. Who wants to take that job? The situation with the roster is in shambles. You have Deshaun Watson on this ginormous deal. You have two young quarterbacks that neither of which necessarily showed you they could be the future. So I think that's a losing situation, pretty much what it's been for this entirety of the history of that franchise. So, except for Otto Graham. Shout out Otto Graham. And Bernie Kosar. That's it, bro. The Tennessee Titans hiring Robert Saleh. That one is, somebody would have to tell me the difference between what is Robert Saleh going to do that Mike Vrabel couldn't do? And what is Robert Saleh going to do with a team that lacks the talent that those Mike Vrabel Tennessee teams had as well? In my mind, I'm thinking that, hey, we need somebody to come in and obviously work with our young quarterback, flip over that offensive unit because that's where we made the investment into it, to start this thing out, to start this rebuild. And I don't know if Robert Saleh can do that. I mean, congrats to Robert Saleh for getting back into the head coaching space, because I believe he can do it, but I don't know if for this team that's what it's gonna be. I mean, look, there's no proven track record for Robert Saleh as a head coach, but maybe he's learned, maybe he's gotten it, maybe he's figured it out how to fill out an offensive staff. But I mean, this is fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a bad hire by any stretch. It's just, I don't know what it will do for this team in the immediate future and moving forward. I know what he's going to do. He's going to make this defense better. And they're going to be able to get stops. They're going to be able to stop guys in the near, and I'd say probably in the next 2 seasons, they'll have a top 15, top 10 unit, more than likely. But in the immediacy and what does it do for your young quarterback, what we learn from these playoffs is this. Young quarterbacks benefit greatly from great defenses. Drake May's benefiting greatly from a great defense. CJ Stroud, good God, I mean, needless to say, how he benefited from his great defense. Sam Darnold is benefiting from that Seattle defense, and so on and so forth. So establishing the defensive side of the ball is very much important. We cannot forget that, even in this era of football where we only care about the offense. But, I'll have to be proven differently on this one. The Atlanta Falcons hiring Kevin Stefanski, that is one where it's not a bad hire, right? It's not a bad hire. I know the Atlanta fans, I didn't realize how out of touch that Atlanta fandom was in terms of how a process of hiring a coach goes and what should be deemed as important when you're hiring a coach. I've seen Atlanta fans say Kevin Stefanski isn't a culture fit for the city. Brother, as if anyone needs to be a culture fit for strip club, wings, and trap music. Brother, that ain't won nobody no championship. And for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in nearly a decade, I would hope you would care about what does he do as a football coach. Now I understand. The last time we saw Kevin Stefanski, it looked like he was beefing with the rookie quarterback. I get it. And if you were to say those things, I would say, hey, you're kind of right. I'd also say that he looked like he had started to get Cleveland to a consistent place at a point. And I understand why Matt Ryan who let it be known that he was looking for prior head coaching experience when looking to fill this role. I understand why Kevin Stefanski will be a guy he would go for. Now, I also don't think it's going to be. I also wonder about the future of the quarterback position there in Atlanta, because you have Michael Penix, who was an older guy that you drafted, and also has injury issues. He's got a torn ACL right now, so he'll be missing all of this year, right? You have now Kirk Cousins, who is not the same player after an Achilles injury, but was suitable enough to win you some games down the stretch. Shout out to him doing that, because it got my boys in the playoffs. Appreciate you, Kirk. But is that something you can move forward with in terms of your future? And there's also not a lot of great quarterback options out there for you this year. So what do the Atlanta Falcons do at quarterback is my biggest question. And do you think Stefanski can draft the right guy and develop him? Or do you think he can make the best of what this is in Atlanta? For Michael Penix, your career is on the clock. It's time is ticking on you. And for Kirk, I mean, this may be Kirk's last best chance at being a starter for a full season. So we'll see. But I can understand the pushback in terms of football related reasons. But some of the reasons that y'all boys gave, brother, I was unaware. That's what the mindset was down there in Atlanta. But this has been Jump Dropper Sports. I'm your host, Sean T. Stewart. I just wanted to give a quick little update on the NFL scene. But with that being said, I'm out.